He's a war criminal. That's how President Biden denounced Vladimir Putin for his horrific attacks on Ukrainian civilians. Russian forces are reportedly using human shields, and then this is unbelievable. They're bombing buildings clearly marked housing children.
Ukraine's president made a passionate plea to members of Congress for more help yesterday. He showed them a video of Russia's vicious onslaught to rally additional support. Wendy Griffith has more.
The Russian military continues to bombard residential areas of the Ukrainian capital. Now there are reports of attacks against civilians in other parts of the country. Ukrainian officials say Russian forces bombed this building in Mariupol, where hundreds of civilians sought shelter, even though the pavement was clearly marked with huge white letters spelling out children in Russian. It's unclear how many were killed, but there are reports that many survived in a bomb shelter under the building. Russian troops are reportedly holding hundreds of civilians hostage in a hospital in Mariupol. Human shields to protect Russian military positions nearby. In the northern Ukrainian city of Cherniv, the U.S. Embassy reporting that Russian troops shot and killed 10 people standing in a bread line. Wednesday, President Biden called Putin a war criminal.
I think he is a war criminal.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky showing a video of the Russian attacks on civilians to the U.S. Congress Wednesday. In his address, he evoked Pearl Harbor and 9/11. Zelensky asked again for a no-fly zone, but said if that is too much to ask, he'll take more weapons and tougher sanctions on Russia.
I call on you to do more. New packages of sanctions are needed constantly, every week, until the Russian military machine stops.
His remarks had lawmakers on both sides of the aisle ready to do more. On CBN's Faith Nation, Nathan Gonzalez of Inside Elections said it's a rare show of bipartisanship.
Republicans and Democrats are united, I think, mostly in not wanting to be directly involved, but providing that support either through allies or providing support directly to Ukraine to defend itself.
Following the speech, the president announced another $800 million in aid to Ukraine, bringing the total package to $1 billion, including hundreds of anti-aircraft systems and drones to help the Ukrainian army defend itself.
We're going to give Ukraine the arms to fight and defend themselves through all the difficult days ahead.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces have launched a counterattack to retake areas around the capital city. CBN's George Thomas reports from a church in Kyiv, just a few miles from the front lines.
The church is right there.
Yeah, the church is right there.
And the Russians? The red is the Russians.
Yeah, already is the Russians. And
so the church is in between Kyiv and the Russians, your church?
Yeah.
When you see all this red, do you get nervous?
No. No. We just pray.
You just pray.
Within hours of Russia's invasion, Grace Church, a prominent evangelical congregation in Kyiv, started holding prayer services every 4 hours.
We received a revelation from God that we are to pray. And the more the church is praying, it destroys the enemy and destructs their ability to shoot at Ukrainian territories, civilian targets, and our Ukrainian military.
Senior pastor Andrea Martinov firmly believes God is answering those prayers as Ukraine's military fights to rebuff Russian forces.
Ukraine will not be conquered by Russia. With God's help, Ukraine will overcome Russia.
Yet you cannot underestimate just how precarious the church sits geographically. On the western edge of Kyiv, Grace Church is 6 miles away from Russian forces.
Of course, we are in regular communication with the Ukrainian military. And if there's any immediate danger, we will inform our people. But we are the church. We stay here. We do not run from war.
Nearby explosions are a daily occurrence, as I discovered while working in the church's parking lot. Yet explosions do little to deter an army of volunteers like Natalie Novikova, who've been coming to the church every day since war started to sort, pack, and gather relief supplies.
Even though we hear the explosions, and sometimes they are very close, We just continue doing our ministry to help those who are in deeper need than we are. And that's why I'm not scared at all.
Even 11-year-old Elizabeth is here pitching in.
I feel good because I know that I'm doing something very important.
The church has so far helped some 60,000 people since Russia's invasion. And they tell me this humanitarian effort is going to continue for as long as it takes. In the meantime, their focus is on Russia, and they are praying for a major spiritual breakthrough.
I believe the end goal of this war will be the fall of Putinism, Stalinism, communism, and all the other ideas and ideologies which Russian mentality was built on.
Oleg Bogomaz, one of the key pastors here, is urging Christians worldwide to not only pray for his nation, but also for Russia, as they endure unprecedented political and economic upheaval.
This is my prayer. God, if you could save Nineveh, please save Russia as well.
Pastor Martinov believes the war will bring a spiritual breakthrough in Russia, leading to greater religious freedom.
The word of Jesus Christ will be freely preached in Russia. I firmly believe this, and this time will come. Mark my word, you'll see it.
George Thomas, CBN News, Kyiv, Ukraine.